Could you give a little more detail about the Phoenix technique class? Thanks. What is the focus and how does it tie into the other classes we're doing?
Yeah, I have to bring it up. Sometimes I'm writing so many different classes, I can't keep up with. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so part of what we're doing with that, how we were talking about the health rays is another component of it is we're going to be looking at, we've talked about things like cords and connections and entanglements with people and situations and things like this. We tackle it from the point of view of physiology. We're talking about it from the point of psychology. We talk about it sometimes from the point of energetics. Here, we're kind of merging all of this, and we're taking some of the components and going much, much deeper to unwind something. And a lot of times, so here we're going to be focusing on not so much cutting cords, which is what we really have focused a lot in the past. But a lot of times it's not the negative cords that is causing us issues, but it is the healthy cords that have gotten contaminated, right? That are or are connected to past events. So we're going to go through and detoxify these connections, be it with people or events, and then the energies that kind of flow out are different kinds of energies that would be agitating to the person. And so it would affect your perception. So what we're going to do is we're going to unwind and release these energies that are tied to people that, or events. For me, there was a really bad accident that I had when I was young. And when I go through and unwind that, a bunch of energy comes out, and it's not about a person, it's about the event, but it's almost like the event itself or nature itself was aggressive towards me or towards my body. That made my body have a certain reaction, right? And so we're going to unwind the connection to that. We're going to unwind the effects that had on the body. And then we're going to unwind the perceptions that are the byproduct of having events like that happen. And even if you're not conscious of what the events are, the technique will be about unwinding these things regardless. And so it really helps to deal with like difficult people, difficult situations, because a lot of times what happens is these connections or these cords, we've gone through and released all these things, but they're still like kind of healthy connections that have gotten super, super contaminated. And they still affect our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, and how we respond to other situations. It's kind of like we have a little bit of this imprinted on us as we move forward in other areas. Like, it's the tendency to be triggered. It's the tendency to just go into an automatic behavior or automatic thought process. It's the tendency to maybe even check out a little bit or have a reaction that's not about what's in front of you, but based on you're still kind of reacting to the things in the past. And it's a way to unwind these things and be able to transition out of them and deal with things with the skill set that you have now rather than the reactions that you've had from years past. I know that that's a long explanation for it, but it is literally about impacting the endocrine system and how your brain processes things and your perception based on these past events and unwinding kind of psychic attack kind of energies and things like this. And yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're always dealing with projections from other people. And, the really super negative ones, we've talked about and we've dealt with, but there's ones that are just maybe a little bit more subtle and a little bit more constant. And sometimes they're from family, friends, loved ones, or peers or coworkers, and they're just over a period of time. Sometimes they're from advertising, they're from society or a culture. And so just going through and unwinding these things on a very deep level.